We are ready.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Caveney?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Gillis?
Here.
Trustee Ivan?
Here.
Trustee Killily?
Here.
Trustee Kreis?
Here.
Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Deputy Clerk PULASKI.
Mayor, can I ask a question before we get started? It looks like we have two people that are online with us that are not identifiable. Do you happen to know who they are?
Mayor, one of those is me, James Huss, calling in from my phone.
Okay.
The other one is me. The other one is me, Jerry. I changed it. My name on my iPad's Jacko, but it's.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we see you, James. Oh, you're calling in on your phone, so it shows up as a phone too.
Yeah, I trust the mute on and off and the controls for the phone a little more, that's all.
Gotcha. All right, Deputy Clerk PULASKI, was there any comment from the public?
No, there was none.
Thank you, ma'am. This time we'll move on to tonight's consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, number one, approval of the purchase of the taser cartridges from Axon Enterprise in the amount of $3,922.50. Number two, approval of ordinance 2071, amending Title 11, Chapter 6, 2A, Table 6-1, and Chapter 7, Section 2, Table 7-1, to provide for the adult use cannabis business by special use in the B1, B2, B3, and OI zoning districts. Number three, approval of ordinance 2072, granting approval of a special use permit to allow auto sales at 14800 South Hamlin in the Village of Midlothian. Number four, approval of the November 11th, 2020 board meeting minutes. Number five, approval of the November 18th, 2020 committee meeting minutes. Number six, approval of the November 25th, 2020 board meeting minutes. Number seven, approval of the December 2nd, 2020 committee meeting minutes. Number eight, approval of the December 9th, 2020 board meeting minutes. Number nine, approval of the December 16th, 2020 committee meeting minutes. Number 10, approval of the December 23rd, 2020 board meeting minutes. And number 11, approval of the list of bills. Is there any item any trustee would like off of tonight's consent agenda? Hearing no objection, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as read.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Caveney?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Ivan?
Aye.
Trustee Killily?
Aye.
Trustee Kreis?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. And unfortunately, again, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the meeting, at this time I declare that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of the coronavirus pandemic.
And Mayor, I will confirm you have a quorum verified by audio or visual confirmation.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to trustee business. Trustee Kreis.
Thank you, sir. The only update I have tonight is the village received a letter. I received a letter. As you recall, we applied for an Illinois Environmental Protection Agency Green Infrastructure Grant in July to supplement the Keystone parking lot, and unfortunately, we were not awarded the grant. This opportunity, 45 applications were submitted for a total request of $22.3 million, and they only had $5 million to award. So I also participated Friday in the Calumet Stormwater Collaborative monthly meeting. There was a partner brought up an opportunity about funding they received from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. I emailed them to see if this project could potentially qualify, waiting to hear back. Also, the IEPA is going to have another call in the spring for these projects. I think it's another $5 million award. So I've reached out to Metropolitan Planning Council again to see if they would assist in revising the application so we could submit it again. You know, we've been pretty successful with grants, but we're not going to win them all. And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I ask Trustee Kreis a quick question? As long as you brought up the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, have we gotten a response on the final tally for the grants that were submitted, that were used for the Rain Ready Community Garden and the parking lot?
I think the final payment was received.
Okay, could you send, I know I had asked once before, but could you send us copies of the submittals so that we can see the whole tally of what the whole project cost and how much money we got?
Okay, I would have to work on it, Kathy. There's no one submittal. This was all piecemeal because it was like the first part was the Illinois Green Infrastructure Grant, and then we had the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant. So I'm going to have to go back with the help of the treasurer and try and figure out all the reimbursements, okay?
Well, I'm just asking for two pieces of paper. The two submittals that you sent to either of those organizations. Wouldn't you have sent one submittal, one email submittal to the National Fish and Wildlife at the very end?
No.
What did you have to send them at the very end?
As invoices became available, they were submitted, and there was a lot of back and forth. It wasn't just one submittal at the end. That's not how these grants work.
Okay, well, don't you have like an electronic file folder somewhere on one of the shared drives that has all the documentation for this grant, for this project, that we can just look at?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not that technologically savvy, so I'd have to go back with the treasurer to look for all the reimbursements.
Do you have it in all your emails?
Oh, probably. Yes, I'm sure in the emails, or Maggie has them back and forth, so I can search for them, okay?
Okay, well, I mean, I think going forward as a board, if we're going to be doing grants, we need to, it's very easy to create a shared drive, a folder on the shared drive, because I've done it. And you know, I'm not that technically astute either.
Now, Maggie may have, she's got a grant file, so it might be just quicker for me to ask her what she has in the grant file related to this.
Okay, well, going forward, my suggestion is that all of the trustees, if we're going to work on grants with our department heads, we need to create a folder so that we all have the opportunity to go in to see what was submitted, because I don't think any of us have any documentation. There's not one sheet of paper that I've seen that shows what the total monies were that we were awarded in grants, and then how much was spent. I have no idea how much was spent to build the rain garden or the parking lot.
I believe at one of our last finance committee meetings, that's what we agreed to, that everybody agreed to going forward. We would provide all those documents to Maggie. And I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm not sure if Maggie was going to create the shared drive so everyone had it, or if we needed to. But I do think that's important, and I think that's what we all agreed to at the last finance committee meeting.
Okay. Anything else, Trustee Kreis?
No, that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Ide.
Thank you, Mayor. Answer the first question about Maggie and the shared drive. She did that already. So I'm pretty sure all the information is on that shared drive that you guys are looking for. If not, we'll follow up with it.
Okay, can I ask a question about that? Is she just going to have one grant folder, or is there going to be, should we set up a separate folder for every separate project?
I believe it's by project.
Okay, thank you.
And I think what she said to us last time is that she was going to, if I remember correctly, she was going to do it with what she had, but she didn't have all of the grant information for all the grants that we've all submitted.
That is correct, Trustee.
Okay.
Okay. Karen, you sent an email to Maggie at 5:38 today asking about the list of bills and the lower price on the insurance. It was a premium adjustment on the December Guardian bill that led to a lower bill for the month of December to the village.
And the reason, the reason that we had that, trustee, if you remember, that was a bonus that they gave us,
Right, a one-time
bonus, but
Right.
that will be adjusted because we agreed when we passed it that we would pass half of that savings on to the members, or to the employees.
And that half is either in the process or it's being completed to distribute that money's, that half to the employees. Also, on a side note, the garbage is going to go up that 1% again that we negotiated, was it 5 years ago or something like that, on the water bills. And that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Gillis?
Yes, sir. The only item I have is I wanted to let the board be aware of the fact that we have a budgeted item for training that I just wanted the board to be aware that we are sending one of our firefighter paramedics to an advanced fire officer class. The class isn't until the next budget year, but he needs to get his application in now. It's a 3-series class for him to qualify for preference points for the next officer's exam if he completes this and gets his certification. So firefighter paramedic Mike Dillenbeck will be going to Romeoville Fire Academy next year. The cost is $1,200. Like I said, it will be a budgeted item in our training budget. And that is all I have.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Caveney?
Thank you, Mayor. Clerk Moskal, I put 2 items this evening before about 6:15 or 6:30. I put 2 items in the balloon, notes, and I don't see them here.
I wouldn't be able to see your notes. They're specific to your login, so.
Well, what happens to those notes? I put them there and I hit the check mark to accept them, and now I'm trying to move. Okay, the yellow line is still on Trustee Gillis. It needs to bounce down to me, right?
Well, you can select any item on the agenda regardless of where it's at.
Well, I'm trying to hit my own name under the agenda, and it's not working.
Item under your name, not your name.
No, I'm hitting number 1, building department updates under my name.
And if your screen isn't moving, then your device is frozen or needs to be refreshed.
Shall we move on while you're trying to find it?
Pull down from the top.
Okay, it's there. All right, well, it was just yellow a second ago, and now it's blue, but my notes are not there. So I know I've asked, this has happened 5 times before. I put notes out there and then they disappear. So, okay, thank God that I have a good memory for at least 45 minutes. So, 2 things I wanted to bring up in addition to the HR matter that I want to discuss during executive session. Number 1, Superintendent Weiner has advised me that some of our businesses that have gaming machines have sent in their gaming renewal fee for the year. However, gaming machines are still off pursuant to the state of Illinois. So he was going to send those businesses a note giving them the option of getting a refund or just leaving the money with the village, and at some point when the gaming machines get turned back on, they would get some sort of prorated refund, because we don't feel that it's right to charge them for use of their gaming machines when they can't use them and they're off. So wanted to give you an update on that. The second item is with regards to biannual rental property inspections. All individuals who own residential rental property in the village are still required to register every year for crime-free housing and pay that fee. But the biannual rental inspections have not been being completed due to COVID. So the superintendent also was going to send a note to all of those property owners to let them know that due to COVID right now, the village is not going to actively schedule those inspections. However, it is the responsibility of the property owners to contact the building department when they know a unit is going to be vacant. Let me back up. we're not going to do active inspections if the unit is occupied. That's the deal. So we're not going to, the building department's not going to inspect an occupied unit. However, it's the building owners or the property owner's responsibility to contact the village to schedule a rental inspection when they're going to turn over a tenant. So the superintendent's Weinert is going to send a note out to all of those property owners and give them that update. And then at some point in the future, when COVID lightens up and we can all get back to normal, then the building department will resume their active biannual inspections. And that's all I have for right now.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Killily.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing I want to comment on is that so far we've had a pretty easy winter, but from the weather reports we're getting that we may have the real winter coming soon. I just want to remind the residents that if we do have a heavier snow where they have to shovel or snow plow, to ask them not to put the snow on the streets. It tends to freeze on a hard surface, or it can get packed down from vehicles crossing, and it becomes very slick and slippery. It's dangerous, and you may have someone in your yard that you don't want. So please, if you can, make sure that you put the snow on your own property and not on the street. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Excellent advice. Trustee Crowley.
The only thing I have tonight, we'll start out with executive session and then I'll have action afterwards.
Okay. Moving on to department heads. Chief Wagner.
Yeah, I have nothing tonight, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Delaney.
Nothing this evening, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Superintendent Weiner.
Nothing. My trustee is taking care of business, sir.
Yeah, yes, she is. Thank you, sir. Superintendent Sperry.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Huss.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two very brief points. With the extra week break between board meetings, the very end of December, we did submit the STP status updates for those STP projects we applied for in the spring, but got moved to the contingency list. So those are up to date. And then I've been working with Superintendent Sperry on the sanitary sewer and manhole improvements. We're very, very close to wrapping it up. Hopefully in 2 weeks, we will be talking about going out to bid for those. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer Britton couldn't make it tonight. Deputy Clerk Kulaki.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez.
Yes, I just put on the agenda for the board's review, in case they had any questions, the discussion of the draft ordinances for TIF number 2, specifically the redevelopment project area designation, the ordinance approving the redevelopment plan, and the ordinance adopting the TIF district financing. As well as you have before you in the packet is the resolution recommendation of the Joint Review Board of all the taxing districts, which did vote without any dissent to approve the TIF. And that's all I have, except for 2 items of litigation for closed session.
Okay. Any discussion on that, or do you want some time to read it? I will have it on the agenda next week for approval.
The only comment I would have is that all of the exhibits are not attached, so I'm hoping that when we get the agenda next week, all of the exhibits will be attached.
They will.
Anything else? All right, under my business, there was a vacancy on our Fire and Police Commission, and the Fire and Police Commission chairman has recommended that Michael Callahan be appointed to fill that vacancy. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the appointment of Michael Callahan to the Fire and Police Commission.
I'll make the
I'll
motion.
make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
May I ask who resigned?
Unfortunately, Mr. Sperry will miss his commitment and his dedication to the village, but he had to step down.
All right, well, thank him for his service.
Yes. All right, anything else? Roll call, please. Clerk Moswell.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Caveney.
Aye.
Trustee Gillis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Just update, there will be a liquor license revocation hearing tomorrow, chaired by me, the liquor commissioner, for Cheers Bar and Grill. It'll be at 5 p.m. and there is a Zoom link that Clerk Moskal has generously continued to help us with. So that'll be at 5 p.m. Tomorrow. And also on next week's agenda, Deputy Clerk PULASKI, I'd like discussion on the village obtaining its own Zoom link, before I forget.
Okay, no problem.
Or if you remember correctly, when COVID first started, I reached out and did a meeting with Zoom. And the problem with Zoom, even with the government rate, at first we thought it would be very reasonable, but it winds up being every person has to buy their own license to use it. There was and it wound up being, I think, in the beginning for just the board and the department heads, it was going to be like $4,000 for the year.
How much?
It was going to be originally we thought it was going to be like $300 for the year. And the reason we never moved forward with it is because even with government pricing, it wound up for the department heads and the board to have access to Zoom to be able to hold their own meetings. It was going to be like $4,000.
Wow.
Can
Can we
you,
use,
Changed it. I still have the paperwork, but unless they changed it, it was, at that time, I don't think anybody knew how long we were going to be doing Zoom, but at that time, I think it came out to just under $4,000. Maggie and I both have the paperwork. I can forward it to whoever wants it.
yeah, can you do that and see if there's,
Yes.
if you have time, can you see if there's been any changes? We
Yeah.
again,
And we
here,
have a contact person. I can forward that. Who do you want to? I mean, I can do it, or I'll copy everybody on it.
okay. Thank you. That's all I have tonight, Clerk Moskal.
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or the representatives, and also to discuss litigation when an action against, affecting, or behalf of the particular public body has been filed or is pending before a court.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, there will be action following closed session. So we are in closed session.